Thank you for sharing your thoughts. And I'm excited now to maybe explore with you some of the ideas that you might have jotted down, but we'll certainly be able to come back to these ideas when we meet in the virtual classroom later on. So what could be the causes for this achievement gap that exists so soon for students and so early in their reading careers, and what can we do about it? Well, it certainly is not lack of critical thinking. I know that I have a 9-year-old son, and he is certainly capable of thinking very critically about me and what I'm doing and how he's being treated. So I don't think it's about critical thinking skills. Yet in schools, we spend a lot of time building lessons and curriculum around critical thinking that would help close that gap that we know the research is showing exists. It is not failure to know or use comprehension strategies. Our students get a tremendous amount of lessons around predictions and sequencing and summarizing. Yet students are able to do a lot of these strategies when they're left on their own, when they are in conversations with family members and friends. The challenge is not these strategies for understanding, it's what happens when students are trying to comprehend texts that are way above their reading level, where the challenges happen. So we could teach a lot of skills and strategies and still maybe never get to the place where we've been able to close this gap in K-12 education. And finally, this failure to master the standards is another strategy in K-12 that we've seen. Systems built around standards and aligned instruction, and every single lesson has to have a standard to it. And we've been doing that now for about 20 years, and to no avail, because the research is showing those gaps still exist. So we can try to intermediate with critical thinking. We can try to focus on comprehension strategies. We've tried to focus on standards aligned instruction, which is important, but not sufficient. So what are the causes? Where do we really see the reasons why students are struggling as early as 1st and 3rd grade and continue to struggle? All right, I'm going to give you some instructions on a little quick quiz that we are going to take. It'll be another opportunity to pause the video and do work. So I'm going to talk through the instructions with you first, and then give you the time you need to complete the activity in just a moment. So the quick quiz is essentially called Which is Harder? And I'm going to give you 2 questions and examples, and you're going to let me know which of them was the most difficult and why. The first question says, restate the following sentence in your own words. So students will have to do a pretty, in terms of Bloom's taxonomy, this question is rated very low on Bloom's taxonomy. Anytime you have to restate something in your own words or recall information, essentially that's considered low level complexity in terms of the task. Here's a task. Restate the following sentence in your own words, and I'm going to show you the sentence. Before I show you the sentence, though, I'm going to say that the question, the sentence I'm going to show you, the following question, and the following task all will be available to you in the resource section. So when I cue you to go to the resource section, you're going to pause the video and you're going to see everything that I just explained on the screen. So don't you worry. So the first task will be restate the following sentence in your own words. And here's the sentence. I'm not even going to bother to read it. You will have a few minutes on your own to read it. But the question is, which one is more difficult? This first task, to restate this sentence in a student's own words, or is it the next task? And here comes the next task, which is actually very high on Bloom's taxonomy. This is now asking students to read the following passage, then write a letter to the editor defending the moral values the main character displays with regards to animals. This is what would normally be like a synthesis question on Bloom's taxonomy, way high, where students have to read information, synthesize the information, and make a judgment or opinion on their own. And here is the reading passage that students now have to do that for. Again, I'm not going to spend the time to read this to you. You can quickly scan it. You'll be able to access the full text and the task when I cue you to go to the resource section. Now off to your task. Which question was easier? Was it the first question, to restate the sentence in their own words? Or was it the second question, requiring students to synthesize information? At this time, I'm going to ask you to pause your video. You will have 10 minutes to go to the resource section in the Blackboard classroom, and you will find the quick quiz resource in that folder. You can open up the resource, you can read the quick passages, and then you will have an opportunity to make your decision. Which task was harder? And I will ask you then to share your response in the discussion board when you have got that complete.